form, but an end to the season that they've secured their place. Had there been relegation this season, not counting, we're all waiting to see whether Salford in one form or another will be in the Super League. Now, I've only just arrived on the last minute, not completely sure of these teams of either side, but first of all, the Salford team in the programme has got Myler at full-back, Tex Evans, Scott Naylor, Scott Martin and Phil Ford as the three-quarters, and as we look around I can see immediately that Rob Myler's not playing because Phil Ford's wearing the number 1. And Jason Critchley's wearing the number 5, so we'll put that right immediately and pick up on the other changes as we go through them. Steve Blakely and Mark Lee, the half-backs in the forwards. David Young, Jonathan Quigley, Paul Southern, Craig Randall, Paul Forber and Sam Panifer, and substitutes Mike Gregory and Ian Blease. Again, the Bradford Northern team, as per the programme, and we'll have to pick out how accurate this is in the opening minutes of the game. Robbie Paul at full-back and three-quarters, Simpson, Hall, Newlove and Christian. Half-backs, Fox and Summers. And in the forwards, Powell, Clark and Bourneville, Dixon, Fairbank and McDermott, and substitutes Jason Clegg and Paul Medley. The referee for today's game gets things underway. Here's Mr. David Asquith. So the players out on the field and off with the game almost within the space of 2 minutes. Salford really having a lot to prove after a disappointment of that run of defeats. Only one victory against Workington Town within our memory. Owen Cliff Eccles is out there at number 10. Cliff Eccles is there in place of Paul Southern and Craig Randall. Good strong run from him. Blakely with the kick. Simpson makes it his. Salford chase good. Phil Ford not unaccustomed to this full-back role. Northern with the bigger pack, and certainly with the better league performance overall, and Mr. Asquith saying Salford just taking too long at the play the ball. Trevor Clark wants to get on with it, but in the end slows it down, gives it to Derek Fox to find touch from the penalty. Well, after the sunshine and pleasantness of Good Friday weather, we've got rain. At the moment it's raining hard and has been for a good 2 hours, and that's shown by the wet bits on the pitch. Roy Powell trying to stride through. Eric Fox in the line looking for space. He's got men inside him like that. Matt Dermott doing so well. Looks as though he could have released the ball but didn't, and the important tackling from Salford. Coming out right, Summers now looking for his runners, as Robbie Paul is one of them. A good tackle on Carl Hall. Derek Fox is there again. Nice long pass out. This is a man out. Oh, good inside pass. Oh, good play from Northern. Paul Dixon with possession. It's the last one on the first attack. Northern working it through. Little kick through. Oh, and the chance gone a begging there for Northern. The kick through was just to perfection, and it looked as though, I think it was Carl Fairbank who had the chance to pick it up and score, and he missed it. And Salford rescue the situation, but that's very concise, sharp play on attack from Northern, controlling the situation. Blakely plays to himself, makes a good, what's that, almost 20 metres forward. So Salford doing well to hold on defensively, and are now in 2 plays made it to the halfway line. Mark Lee in the line to David Young, onto Panifer, and that's what Salford need to do, keep the ball moving. Jonathan Quigley's going to go on his own. He's not. He's passing on to Paul Forber, but Forber taken down by Neil Summers. Blakely. Mark Lee coming back inside nicely, but can't get away. 3 Northern tacklers Blakely with the high one crossfield. It's going a long way. Stays in play. Salford chases slow to get there, but in the end they're not. And at the end of all that, an amazing piece of play. The ball in the air for so long. And the Northern fullback, Robbie Paul, assuming it was going to go dead as you would expect, it bounced back into play. And if only Salford had been up there a bit faster, then in the end it was Jonathan Quigley who was first there, but he couldn't take the ball cleanly. And that could have been a score for Salford. So we've already, in these opening couple of minutes, 4 minutes, have had two could-have-beens, neither of which were, and it's still 0-0, and Rugby League, as always, given us something to excite us and entertain us right at the start of this game. Difficult conditions for these players. Oh, that was a good tackling from, I think it was Craig Randall. Northern with speed and pace in all positions. Salford unflinching at the moment. Derek Fox, the long kick. Tex Evans makes his nicely. Crowd love Tex, but nowhere for him to go. Bill Ford makes it his. Got Critchley with him, running crossfield. Jason Critchley, been out for a couple of weeks, hopefully fit now. And Cliff Eccles, great pace from him. Needing Eugene Bourneville as well as Carl Hall to bring it down, but it was good hands from Salford. And Sam Panifer nearly getting away, just dropping the ball. And the referee will have to bring that one back, and I would imagine we're going to see a lot of that in this game. Ball very, very wet conditions, tricky underfoot. And Sam Panifer scored some thrilling tries for Salford this season. And the Salford fans trying to raise their team. Disappointing attendance for an Easter Monday, but in the conditions, perhaps not a surprise. And in the weather conditions, that is not a surprise. And in the conditions of all the changes about to come in Rugby League, perhaps also not a surprise. Top 8 spot long out of the question for Salford. Second game in 4 days for both these teams. Eugene Bourneville, good strong run from him, good tackling as well. Eccles and Young, Fox in the line, and this ball going along line at great pace by Northern. And good tackling from Salford. And Derek Fox is there again. This is who's got with him. Oh, nice little dummy from Carl Fairbank. Not bought though. Fox switches direction, little kick through. Referee said it's the last one. Bill Ford in the end has to boot it dead, boot it to safety. Ball having ricocheted off a Salford foot, the referee said that didn't count to wave the tackles out. And Northern just, I think, shading it so far in these opening 7 minutes, looking the team more likely to score, controlling the ball well, but Salford doing their bit of defending so far. McDermott eludes one tackle and gets his pass away to Powell. Powell still gets his pass on to Bourneville. This time it's David Young with Cliff Eccles who finally puts him down. Roy Powell tackled well by Quigley. Northern moving this ball well along the line. Oh, great elusive running from Newlove. Great player Newlove. So in many ways deceptive. But Fox is there orchestrating everything in the middle of the field. Involved in every play. But Salford stopped Bourneville. Northern threatening though. Now there's a chance here surely for them. Like that. And the referee says that is a try. Perhaps some of the crowd thought it was a double movement, but the Salford defence just not strong enough to keep Northern out. The ball went crisply along the line. One of the players, inevitably Derek Fox, before in the end Carl Hall just had enough space. Robbie Paul put him into that space, and although there's a Salford tackler there, it just wasn't enough to prevent him scoring the try, although it did look as though he might have been grounded first. Referee, right under his nose, says there wasn't two movements, and so the first score goes to Northern. Derek Fox unsuccessful with the conversion, and Northern with the early lead, so important in rugby league, the confidence that brings, and the running from Carl Fairbank. Thought he'd been impeded at the play of the ball. Robbie Paul tries to find a room from nothing. No, it wasn't Paul at all, it was Gary Christian in from the wing, but Northern going forward. Fox again in the line. Good tackling though from Salford. Put Neil Summers down on the halfway line. It's the last one, says the referee. Kick taken by Phil Ford, but it's been a good chase from Northern in the end. The line, 6 Northern tacklers. Critchley, good crossfield run from him. That bringing the Salford team to life. Tex Evans still, I think, getting himself to match fitness. Hanaper, oh, a nice little dummy from him, but not bought by the Northern defenders. And Salford making good progress this time inside to Brundle. Full forward, wants to go on his own, can't quite get away. It's the last one, but this has been a good 6 from Salford, and Salford still going forward. Blakely does a nice little dummy, and where's the support? The support is out here. Critchley says that's mine, comes back inside, can he make it to land? Gets his pass on, and yes, it goes down in the corner. That is a brilliant try for Salford. Scott Martin was the scorer, but there were so many players involved that in a move that started deep inside their own half. Blakely straightened up at one point to find the opening up the middle, didn't have quite the legs to go all the way and chose to put the passing route outside. Jason Critchley picked it up. It looked as though he might have gone over, but he didn't have to because he had a man in support, and that was Scott Martin, who went in by the corner flag to score the equalising score in this first half. 4-all. "13 minutes gone." Oh, well taken, Mark Lee. Sam Panaber surging forward, and it's always good to see first play on the 10 metre outside the 20 line. And Tex will do his share of the work, not making the decisive ground, but David Young has made it into the Bradford half in 3 plays. Now can Salford consolidate this? 4 one-man bursts from Salford have taken them 10 metres inside the northern half. Well, 5th tackle, says the referee. Salford looking for something now. Blakely for something. It's the high one, and the chasers are all there, all on side. Scott Martin, the ball's dropped, going down, and in the end, kicked dead, pushed dead by Roy Simpson. Great chase that was from Salford, and I think it was Scott Martin in particular who was bearing down on Robbie Paul, who didn't take the ball cleanly, and everybody can be forgiven for that in those conditions. And a lot of good kick from Steve Blakely. It's a long time since we've seen Salford using that tactics continue successfully, and it's the height of the kick that's so important, and Blakely capable of giving it that height. Paul Forber makes it his, but again the chase from Northern up quickly, and so that they're at the 20 by the time Paul Forber picks the ball up. Critchley looking for an opening if he can find it. David Young with the run around, Nice pass on to Paniper. Paniper into space. Now the pass on. Phil Ford's there, but Ford taken down just short of line. Great defence by Northern. So close in. Jonathan Quigley's going to go on his own. Held up just on the line. Good play from Salford, surging forward. Has to hang on to that as Blakely. Oh, can't find the passing route. Wise not to pass it. Mark Lee comes back in that way. Then Craig Randall's there. The kick over is going to run harmlessly dead, but it was a good attack from Salford, and Phil Ford unlucky not to score, but perhaps that was more credit to the defence for Bradford Northern. Gary Christian, I think it was, who put in a fine tackle to save Bradford Northern from conceding another try. So a period in which Salford have come back into it and had a chance to take the lead, but Northern have hung on, and it's still 6-all, and Salford being penalised for a high tackle and picking out the smallest man on the field, bar none, Jonathan Quigley, for having committed that offence in referee Mr. Asquith's eyes. Roy Powell, good tackle. Roy Powell gets up as though it was nothing. Bourneville put down by Young and Eccles. Good running though, good tackle by Quigley on Paul Dixon. But Northern now have a chance over that side. The ball's moving well. Important tackle that was. The ball is passed on, goes to ground. Salford pick it up. Referee says that's okay, but Northern don't let him get into his stride. That was good play from Northern though. Carl Fairbank, prominent in so many of these plays from Northern wide. Play wasted for Salford. All the plays count, and 2 Salford players at the play the ball isn't necessary. Craig Randall does well not to pass it when he did, and does well to pass it when he did. Does well not to pass it when he didn't. Blakely gets pass on to Mark Lee. A nice little pass on to Paniper. Balls goes down on the ground, but the referees pulled them back for a forward pass. But Salford certainly playing much brighter football today than we saw from them on Friday, to my eyes. When the conditions were in favour of moving the ball around, they didn't. But today, they're doing that, as they did against Workington down here a couple of weeks ago when they had that thrilling victory. Carl Hall tackled well, importantly, for Salford. And Ford not in the full-back role. Back in position now. Oh, good tackle by 2 Salford players on Bourneville. Craig Randall and David Young. And Roy Powell looking for an opening. Can't find one that time. Salford tackling well. Ferret Fox has switched the direction well. With great attack at great pace. Fox is there again. Now there's a chance over this side for Northern. Goes back inside. The ball squirms out. Ford makes it his, and in the end finishes up back over his own line, but the referee says that's no advantage to Salford, so he's going to give the knock-on. Allowed advantage. Ford couldn't take advantage of the advantage, but did enough to make sure that possession comes Salford way. Blakely had a difficult ball to take. Martin also doing well. On Mark Lee, working hard as always. Oh, that's a good sharp pass then from David Young. Paul Forber again looking to release the ball if he can, and Sam Paniper. So some good try, nice pass on that time to Jason Critchley, but taken down by Roger Simpson. Now Salford moving it. Cliff Eccles holds on, pushes one off, but not another. It's the 5th one. Salford comfortably though in Northern half. And Steve Blakely again, this time kicks a little kick through. Derek Fox has to escape, but Jonathan Quigley gets his boot to it first. Great kick and chase from him. Ball just going dead though, which will give Northern the tap on the 20. Good enterprising play from Salford, putting Northern under pressure. But in possession, Northern. undoubted pace and ability in their team. Many men like that one, Roy Powell. Important ankle tack by David Young. Good tack from him. Derek Fox moving this ball right. Derek Fox again, now moving it left. McDermott taken down, knock in the face. Robbie Paul in the line, push it back inside to Newlove. Any tackle on Newlove when you're defending against him is an important tackle. Derek Fox is there though, he's looking for an opening this side. It's the kick through, and Ford is coming across for it. Is he coming quickly enough? The chase from Simpson's good. Ford makes it his. Tries to beat them, can't again, and in the end has to take the tackle. And Derek Fox lets Critchley go that time because he knows teammates are there, stopping Critchley moving. Salford bunched on that side. Paniper on the far side, receiving attention for an injury, but back in the fray again. Paul Forber straightening well, but hanging on sensibly and quickly into Randall. Randall lets that one go. All and Northern jump on it and make it theirs. And Salford now an important 6, because Northern have possession just outside the 20. Hall scored one try, almost got into his stride then. If he had done, he might have been over. Northern with a real opportunity now. Men over from that side. Bad pass made to look easy by Carl Fairbank. It's going left. Men over for Northern that side. Into space. But what an important tackle was that at the end. It looked as though Paul Dixon couldn't have failed to score then, but Salford prevented him from doing so. Now there's a chance this side if the ball can go over. Instead it's the kick. Where are the Salford defenders? Critchley's there, and sensibly and wisely make sure that the ball goes safe. So good composed rugby from Northern in possession, really testing the Salford defence, and the Salford defence a match for that attack from Northern. Although in the end it had to be booted clear. That is better than conceding a try as the rain comes down even harder, making these conditions very, very difficult for these players. 22 minutes gone and it's 4-all. That's a great kick from Blakely. So now we'll have to bring it into the Salford half. To do just that, the form of McDermott. And then Derek Fox goes on his own. 3 Salford men put him down. Summers looking as though he was going to pass. Doesn't. Salford tackling. Bourneville. Good tackle on Bourneville. Now Fox again. Fairbank again. Little one back to Fox. Now it's coming out this side. Summers in there. Big overlap this side. Goes back to Roy Powell though. Roy Powell in the centre. Tackled well by Salford. It's the last one and a very important play now coming up. Can Salford hold out? Can Northern convert into points? A little kick through. Evans says thanks very much. That's mine. Hangs onto it cleanly. And Salford come away with the ball. Scott Naylor makes a few more yards. Crowd not happy with something. Salford just having a breather, understandably almost. Although the game doesn't allow for breathers. Now they're working it clear well. Forber. Pass away to Martin. Martin tries to shove off his tacklers, and there's been a change obviously there on the Northern side that I'd missed, but Paul Medley is on. Always impresses me, Paul Medley. Got great pace, and there's a good kick. And in the end, Paul, is he going to let it go dead? Yes, it is. The skull's dead. Good raking kick from Blakely. And Northern have to build. Roger Simpson. And just outside their own 20. Roy Powell. There's Paul Dixon tattle there. Medley gets into his stride and now with pace. Ford's out of position. There's men inside. Ford's going back over. He's got another man in support. Robbie Paul's that other man. And that is a tackle like you can't believe. But the try is still given. That was almost the most amazing defence from Phil Ford that you could wish to see. Out of position it seemed when Paul Medley, the man I said with great pace, made the initial opening. Paul Medley had too many in support. Phil Ford recovered his ground, got back across, and it looked as though it prevented Robbie Paul scoring a certain try. But at the end of it, the referee, Mr. Asquith, ruled that he got the ball down cleanly, and the referee was right on the spot to see it. And so just after a period of play that Salford looked as though they'd had the measure of the Northern attack, Northern show their pace, and with Derek Fox conversion also successful, 10-4 to Northern. So now can Salford come back into it again? What's the referee going to say about that? He's going to say that's a knock on behind your post. That means it's a drop out. So the right decision from the referee, and an opportunity for Salford to have possession. Over that. Well taken by Panaper. Shrugs off one tackle. Brings the crowd to life. Applause for the Salford fans for that play from Panaper. Eccles is barging forward on his own. Now's a chance over that side. Blakely strains up, come back inside, gets the ball away. There's 6 more, says the referee. Another chance for Salford to keep it moving. Phil Ford in the line. Phil Ford trying to find space over this side. He finds Jason Creechley. Creechley back inside. Comes back inside to Mark Lee. Salford moving the ball well. Can't find a way through. Paul Forbes still great running, great handling from Salford, but Bradford Northern a measure for it on defence. But Salford looking forward again, working forward. Grade Randall, ball squirms out. Eccles makes it his. Shrugs out the tackle. Back inside. And that's going to be a try for Salford. Brilliant rugby from Salford. Absolutely marvellous handling in any conditions. In these conditions, what a joy to behold. What a miracle to see that ball sticking time and time again. In the end, it was a pass that went onto the ground. Eccles made it his. And I think it was Scott Naylor over that side who was on the in support to take the pass, and he still had to work at scoring. He did it very successfully. So half an hour gone. Blakely unsuccessful with the conversion attempt. And Sam Panaper off on one of those mazy little runs that makes so much ground for him. And Tex Evans on one of his little runs that hasn't been doing really at the moment. Cliff Eccles, great little inside swerve from him, and then 10 metres of clear ground. Craig Randall looking to work his way to the halfway line, and Salford going forward well, but a wasted play unfortunately. Quickly tackled before he could get the ball anywhere. And Blakely with the outside of his foot sits up nicely in the end for Robbie Paul, and another chance now for Northern to do something. Robbie Paul going backwards to find a space, but there are 3 Salford players around him. Finally put him to ground as his teammates only just get back in position. It doesn't need a line of men if you got Roger Simpson able to go all the way as he could do. Didn't that time though. But Northern now, good line from them. Paul Forber and David Young having to tackle Eugene Bourneville. Al Fairbank gets inside. Fox stumbles but does enough to get his pass away. So important that you stay on your feet, and if you can release the ball you do so. Paul Dixon tackled by his opposite number. So the kick comes and it's bouncing nicely. In play once and then out of play behind the Salford front row, but that doesn't matter these days. Scott Martin trying to find some space to move forward. Panifer. That time well tackled by Northern. David Young steps inside, forces himself forward, but the Northern tackling so good. Paul Forber. It's the last one, says the referee. Working the short sides. Still goes to Blakely. Blakely with a little one into space, and he chases himself. Oh, but that was an excellent take by Robbie Paul. Under Blakely's pressure, just waited for the ball to come to him and made it his safely. Good defending from him and for Northern. Roy Powell. Oh, shrugs off two tacklers, still goes forward. Oh, that's the sort of play that lifts the heart of supporters. It did the Northern supporters then. Al Fairbank with his time for Fox to go back and pick that up. But that time it was Paul Dixon who perhaps wasn't quite ready for that, maybe. Or let's just say it's always a difficult ball to take as a rugby league ball, but in these conditions, when it's wet and raining, even more difficult. In and out, Blakely. Martin, run around, Blakely. Well spotted by Northern. No danger for Northern at that play. Now can Salford produce a little bit of something special? And then over this side, if they can get it over the line. But that time, it's Paul Forber who drops it, and I don't think he was too pleased with himself for that. So the ball out Northern way. Phil Ford up from full back, making the tackle 1-to-1. Salford have no been the full back role at the minute. How versatile Northern to that. Oh, and Ford makes it his. So Miles out of position, does the absolutely the right thing. The chance for possession, he intercepts, saw it coming and made it his. Good play from Phil Ford. Rain still teeming down here. Now can Salford get it along the line now? Little run around. Martley though couldn't quite find his runners over there. It's Blakely, can't get clear. No, that was Quigley, couldn't get clear. Happens too often, unfortunately. Martley with a little kick over into space. The chasers are there, but Simpson's there as well. What's a good take that was by Roger Simpson under pressure, and Scott Martin tackled him from Salford, being penalised for not being straight on at the play of the ball. So a penalty for Northern, giving them the chance to clear their lines. (10-8) to Northern, 36 minutes gone in the first half. Powell going forward. Northern moving quickly and well. Good, important tackle. Paul Dixon looking dangerous with the ball that time. Now it's going quickly over to the left. Sumner it was. Paul's in the line, comes back inside, but resolute. Salford defending, preventing Paul getting into his stride. Now here's that other danger man. Oh, he bounces back. Paul Newlove it was. The referee hasn't waved them out. It says it's still the last one. Time it's Derek Fox with the kick over into space. Phil Ford picks it up cleanly. Takes time for the Bradford Northern players to get over, and there was absolutely no danger there that Carl Hall was going to make Phil Ford his and make his tackle count. He did just that. Scott Martin running cross field, but 2 tackles in Salford still only 10 metres from the line. Change on the Salford side. Sam Paniper, having received that knock earlier, having to leave the field, and that Salford will certainly miss Paniper, who's been playing so well. And Paniper deciding to go to the dressing room. Perhaps he knows the problem's more serious than we're aware of up here. As David Young strides out of 1 tackle and still goes forward. Great strength and determination. And then Mike Gregory, who's come on. So it goes to Blakely for the kick. Deep, but no real pressure for Paul, who takes it cleanly. And Mike Gregory there with his first tackle of the afternoon. Northern coming forward quickly. Northern wanting the ball at the moment. Northern just seem to have stepped up their game a little bit, perhaps sensing that a try now. Fairbank again, done so much now. There's the opening created. Now there's a chance. The ball goes inside and Quigley picks it up, and a real opportunity. Fairbank involved yet again for Northern. A real opportunity gone a wasting. Now the chance for Salford comes back inside, back that way. Now there's men over, but the one Northern defender, a match for 3 Salford attackers because the ball couldn't get out there. And Scott Naylor really wasting that play. And Quigley, well, perhaps doing the same really. 5 metres isn't enough in one play when you've only got 6 of them. With Eccles. Ford in the end kicking over into space. Simpson's dropping it. Now's a chance. It's the kick's on, the chase is there. Scott Martin's there. And Scott Martin, is he going to be awarded? The referee is thinking about it, and the referee says, yes, it is a try. Second try for Scott Martin. Great determination. The little kick over, putting Northern under pressures. Roger Simpson looked as though he got it covered. It didn't quite. The ball went to ground. It was Ford's kick that caused the damage, but more importantly than that, it was the kick after that into space. The chase was on, and that was one of those situations that must have been very difficult for the touch judge and the referee to decide whether that was a try or not. However, unitedly they decided that was a try. The difficult conversion attempt. Strikes it well though. Oh, that's magnificent. That is truly wonderful goal kicking of the highest order. Absolutely brilliant conversion from Steve Blakely on the stroke of half-time to put Salford in at the half-time hooter in the position of Salford 14, Bradford Northern 10. If you want to do it, you do it. You do it if you want. If you know them, you do it.
Well, I know them, but I have got a bit of a cold. I don't know why it sounds like that too. The ears are a bit...
The Salford fans always good to see Salford fans getting behind their team. This is my last match of the season. I can't make it next Sunday, unfortunately. So I'd like to wish all the players all the best for the summer months, and also for all those involved in what's to come in Rugby League. We hope that the changes are for the better. We hope that we've got a team to support next season, and we hope that that team is Salford. If it is, we wish them well. We wish those who decide which players come down here have the wisdom of Solomon to pick out the best ones for Salford. We hope that they don't go mad with all the money, and we hope that we can still watch Salford play next season in the Premier League. Well, that counts and matters for nothing at the minute, because all that matters for the next 40 minutes is, can Salford maintain this 4-point lead? 14-10 at half-time. 3 tries to Salford, 2 tries to Northern. Paul Medley, he made the decisive break for Northern's second try. And Northern already inside the Salford half with a kick into space. Tex Evans is back quickly, airing back to make it his. Picks it up cleanly, but the chasers are there. Newlove's one of them. Make sure that Evans goes down. Evans plays it to himself, goes forward inside, takes on Roy Powell and Trevor Clark, who put him down. Critchley in from the opposite wing, running cross field. Northern keeping them at bay. Mike Gregory in the line has to check. Has he got the ball? Good on to Mark Lee. Cliff Eccles striding well, trying to keep the ball available. And Salford with Noel Blakely kicking into space, chasing it himself. The ball's going to run dead. And I think Steve Blakely perhaps just had a little bit more time then than he realised before the kick. And all of a sudden Salford stretched on this side, because Northern, had they been able to get on with it, might have had an opportunity this side. Like with that man, so dangerous, potentially Paul Newlove. Been in the game a long time and still only a relatively young man. Northern lucky to have him. Trevor Clark with the pass on. Robbie Paul looking for a minute as though he'd found an opening. Salford players changed the jerseys. Some of them already they're starting to get muddied. As Northern come forward, Newlove slip. Scott Naylor does well to hang on to him. It's the last one. It's a high kick. It's a dangerous one. The chasers are there. Phil Ford watching it and watching it, and in the end, late sit, and you can say he'll look back on that and judge and say that he judged it to perfection, clearing it by pushing it over the dead ball line with his hands. But those kicks so difficult to take. Ball moving around in flight. Phil Ford didn't take it, couldn't take it first time, but next time after the bounce did just enough to push it dead. Blakely straight out to roll. Jason Clegg's on, substitute for Bradford Northern. And his first run, Salford, he's going to be a handful for Salford. Now's a chance for Northern over the right hand side. Men over on that side, if the ball goes like that, doesn't go to hand, but it's picked up nonetheless by Northern. Oh, now one ball dropped and Salford rescue it. So an opportunity for Northern not taken there to go through their 6. And Phil Ford finds Forber now, but Northern defending very well. Critchley just gets his pass on nonetheless. Scott Martin tries to stay on his feet but can't. Salford have lost ground in these plays. Cliff Eccles making a few yards now. Blakely and Gregory. Gregory has to come inside. The referee's still not held his hand up. I think the crowd want to tell him that that's the last one. Blakely steps and tries to find an opening. Taken down this time. The referee says it's the last one. Goes out there to Mark Lee. Mark Lee with the long kick along the ground. That's running and running into touch, 10 metres from the Northern line. Good kick from Mark Lee. Mark Lee is always talking to his teammates, imploring them to greater efforts. 14-10 lead that Salford have got. Can they hang on to it? Can they increase it? Long way to go yet. 4 minutes into the second half. And Northern in possession. And the runners are there. Oh, like that. Great surge. And if that pass had been made onto Robbie Paul, who knows what Northern could have done. Such an important tackle by Salford. Now Roger Simpson's with a chance. But Salford preventing him from getting in his stride. But danger in this Northern attack. Like that, there's one opportunity gone. Now's a chance for Northern over this side. Tex Evans gets his pass onto Newlove. A chance now for Salford. Northern is going over there. Oh, and the chance goes a begging. Paul Newlove showing his class and skill, drawing his man into the tackle, getting a pass on to Gary Christian, just slightly behind him, ball to ground, and a clear try-scoring chance for Northern goes a wasted. Salford defenders were coming over in numbers, but the odds on there were surely on the score. Well, Salford with a let-off and still with the lead, and Tex Evans wanting to go forward and get on with it quickly, and Scott Naylor wanting to do the same. And Salford making good ground, but I think good tackle that was. Randall up so quickly though, David Young up in support and taking it into the Northern half, and what's that, 4 plays? Salford now inside the half, and Steve Blakely looking to find space. Ball goes down, Salford pick it up, but the referee's going to call it back for a knock-on for the first offence. It might have touched a Northern player, but the first offence was the dropped ball by Salford. So Northern will have the put in. And Steve Blakely looking to keep the ball moving. And Northern now looking to do the same. Good crisp passing, but to Phil Ford, up convincingly. And then with support, pulling Robbie Paul back something like 10 metres in the tackle. That's the sort of defending that certainly raises fans' hopes and teammates' hopes as well, pushing Northern back. But Northern have these big forwards to come forward again. Roy Powell that time, Carl Fairbank this time, looking to release it as well. Trevor Clark first of all, and there's the kick into space, and the chase is on, and and Roger Simpson looking as though he must have scored, and in fact he's going to be over the line, and the referee is going to say that that's got to be a try. Oh, what's his? No, he's not. He's saying he's tackled short, and the Salford defenders very slow at getting back, and from nothing Northern have the chance, and again there's a chance for Northern as the ball was kicked and bounced loose, and what a strange play that was. Certainly the kick from Derek Fox, the chase from Northern was absolutely magnificent. They were outpacing the Salford players significantly, and it's great credit to whoever stopped Roger Simpson from scoring. I think it was Jason Critchley out that side. However, Roger Simpson didn't score then remains a mystery to me. And then even then Northern had another chance, and Salford just rescued the situation and still retain this lead, 14-10, 8 minutes into the second half. But Northern very much with the initiative at the minute, and with Robbie Paul running a long way, but only to Salford tacklers. And Northern really demonstrating that they want to get back into this game, want to get back into the lead. Eugene Bourneville roaring forward, and Jason Clegg roaring forward, surging run from him, sucking in Salford defenders in so doing, because now there are men over that side. Derek Fox changes the angle, but takes it himself, doesn't release it, so close to the Salford line. Now there's men over this time, Fairbanks in the line, there's men over this side for Northern, but the tackle made by Salford. It was Bourneville who was taken down. Derek Fox is there again, this time it's a little kick through, dropped by Salford, not taken cleanly by Cliff Eccles it seemed, but the ball continued to go backwards, and Mark Lee made it his for Salford. So good defence from Salford. That was excellent period of play from both teams, and Salford's defence having the measure at that time of the Northern attack, but Northern defenders having the measure of Jonathan Quigley today. And immediately after that period of defence, Salford coming forward, the angle changed, Paul Forber dropping the ball low, possession lost, Northern with a chance, dangerous from anywhere. Salford not got a full-back at the minute. Phil Ford's up there. And there's a chance for the line, but as soon as the chance opens up, a Salford defender puts him down. Great play from both teams. Northern coming forward in numbers, raves, and the pass goes around, but Salford, Northern have another chance. Christian out this side, Christian's out there, sells one dummy, but not a second, and put down. Oh, another 6 as well. There's somebody fighting though off the ball. A rare sight these days down here at the Willows. Tex Evans involved in a scuffle. I think it was first of all Scott Naylor who seemed as though he might have got the ball for Salford. But that is an indication of how the tension is mounting in this game. A game that you might think there's not a lot to play for, but not so. These players play the game with only one motivation in mind, and that is to win. So, and again, the opening by Northern and the run through to the line, and a great defence from Salford. I think it was Scott Martin who prevented the score. And even then, numbers over for Northern on this left-hand side. Salford defence getting across. So who's been picked out? Mike Gregory on the Salford side. No, it's not. Wrong one. Right, it's Tex Evans and Neil Summers with the captains. Oh, and there's Tex Evans offering to shake hands. Great sporting gesture, not responded to by Neil Summers. And now it's Mike Gregory who's being pulled out. And the referee is going to judge at the end of it all. The play carries on. Nobody gets a free kick. Yes, they do. No, they don't. Yes, they do. Penalty to Northern. So pressure for Northern on the Salford line. Can he make it count? No, they can't. And one of the biggest cheers of the afternoon was for Martley, again being there to drop on that one, as Mike Gregory tries to find a way through. And certainly Northern wasting an opportunity there. And Salford rescuing the situation. Cliff Eccles striving to get his way through, and in the end, at last, Mr. Asquith says he was being impeded, being held down, not allowed to get on and play the ball. And Steve Blakely quickly gets it into touch, and Salford, with a momentum to go forward, are doing just that. Now what can Salford do? Cliff Eccles can go, and he can go, and he can go, lowering himself on the ground. He can score from 5 metres out with the right momentum and switch the direction. Little dummy. Northern holding him up over the line. So close to Salford from one end of the field to the other in no time at all. Oh, and that is all so unnecessary to have kicked so early in the plays. I think, don't know who that was, Martley. Wasn't really necessary. There were plays to come, tackles to come. So as it is, the referees pull them back for a scrum. So there's been some suggestions that the Salford players have not been as fit as perhaps they ought to be. I don't know whether that's right or not. If it is, I hope that the coaches, Andy Gregory, can see it, can recognise that in the big league, in the Super League, if Salford are there, even if they're not in the First Division, supreme fitness is the necessary requirement for any successful rugby league team. And if Salford aren't fit, they're not going to do well. They need to be fit physically, stamina, attitude. No sign of lack of fitness today, but there's a lack of the ball at the minute because it's come out on the Northern side, and Salford penalised for being offside. Mark Lee not happy with that. Wasn't quite sure, I think, where the ball was. So Derek Fox gets on with it quickly. And the situation, Northern at one end failed to take advantage of their position. Oh, and flagged Latin there. And Salford have failed at the other end of the ground to take advantage. But up very quickly, and the game really has gone up a lot. And the fans know it. You can always tell when there's excitement or glory in the game. And there's one ball that was lost and headed and controlled again. Oh, brilliant control out there in these conditions. And Northern getting themselves together, perhaps just the better at the minute and coming forward cohesively. There's a play the ball by Carl Fairbank to himself. Looking to release, he does. Ball's dropped, Salford gets it. And the referee says that's okay, and a chance for Salford. But Mike Gregory can't go anywhere. Now Salford get it out there. And Phil Ford, no way through for him today. Paul Forber tries to make ground forward, but the Northern tackling tenacious, not letting anybody go. David Young throwing himself forward. Salford fans urging the team forward. Little run around, inside move. Craig Randall running well, stays on his feet but can't release the ball. It's the last one, says the referee. Now there's Blakely, he's seen a space up the middle. Little kick through into space, the chasers are there, Paul's there. Has he got it? He has, and Salford put a hand on it, and it's not a try because Robbie Paul had quite definitely put the ball. I put his hand on the ball to make it safe, and this is a great pressure period for Salford. 14-10 in the lead. Great pressure period from them, having to rely on the kick at the end of that move. But kicks are so important. And this is a good chase up from Northern. Oh, and the ball lost at the very first one. Possession squandered unnecessarily by Salford. And Northern will take full advantage of that, like that. There's Trevor Clark looking to pass the ball on. It's Roger Simpson looking to move it. He does so. Carl Fairbank been involved so much. But this time Salford put him down. Plays the ball to Derek Fox. Bourneville's there going forward and forward. 4 put down. And all of a sudden it's Northern looking as though they want the chance to come back. The kick through into space, the chase is on. Phil Ford's going for it. Tex Evans makes it his, but he's tackled on the floor over the line, and I think in so doing, collided with Phil Ford, who seems to have taken a knock, but not 100% by the looks of things. Ian Bleeds, I think it is, waiting to come on for Salford. And Salford having to do the tackling. Bank. Good tackling also from Salford, but the Northern forwards working hard, trying to create something. This time Derek Fox is over there. Bourneville is there. Oh, but the ball's dropped by him. Salford snap it up again. And Phil Ford says, that's mine. But as soon as the now Ford loses it as well. And again, a first tackle loss. Ford claiming it was pushed out of his hand. The referee's not going to see it like that. And so it's going to be a put into Northern, and chance for 6 more, just as it looked as though Salford had defended so well to keep them out. Northern have another chance to try and put their own points on the board. Like that, good play from Northern, good defence over that side from Scott Naylor. Important tackle. Who's that making ground from nowhere? Salford being penned back on their own line. Roger Simpson taken down. Now which way are Northern going to go? Chance right and left. He's going middle-ish. Bourneville's on his feet still, but pushed down in the end by Salford tacklers. Trevor Clark first of all. Probably Paul in the line. Oh, great little baton to Powell, and Powell, look how close he is. But still Northern. Little kick through, and Salford again rescue the ball. Tex Evans presumably somebody made the ball dead, said the referee. No, an obstruction try being awarded. Oh dear. Well, that's one of those decisions that go for you and against you. and I'm not sure quite that the Northern players were expecting that, but the kick through, the chase, and Mr. Asquith are judging that, I don't know quite remember who the kicker was, that the kicker would have scored the try, and the penalty try being awarded to Northern to give them the level at this stage, 14-14, with the conversion attempt to come, and Salford really not quite sure. And now the touch judge is unhappy about something, and you can imagine that Salford players are going to be incensed with that decision by the referee. It'll count for nothing, and what they should know is that you don't talk to anybody, because somebody will be pulled out now. Phil Ford still talking to the other touch judge. It's Phil Ford who's being spoken to. Very unhappy with the decision, but the decision counts. And the referee are judging that the talking to is sufficient. I think that's all he'll say. And Derek Fox kicks Northern into the lead, 16 points to 14. So rugby league and controversy go hand in hand with these sort of decisions that the referee was quite certain about. A change on the Salford side. Ian Blease is on in place of Mike Gregory. And the Salford forward momentum needs to be found again. Salford 14, Bradford 16. Bradford with the 2 points initiative. They have time and the lead on their side, and look how strong Roy Powell is. Two Salford forwards can't put him down. Derek Fox has time to step and change his mind, and then pass the ball along the line to try and find an opening. Salford say no way through that time. Derek Fox with a long kick. This time the chasers from Northern are not there, and the ball running dead. So 17 minutes to go. Certainly Salford competing much better in this game than in some that we've seen against top 8 teams over the last few weeks. And the referee not responding to the crowd shouts for a high tackle. And Salford just get on and play it. Mark Lee's there. Has to check and come inside, because the Northern defenders up very, very quickly. Steve Blakely tries to find a way through. Now is there a chance? Ford has to stop and check. He can't push off Newlove. Newlove puts him down. Steve Blakely, the high crossfield kick. The chasers are chasing. Paul Forber's there. Paul Forber first there, ahead of his backs. Put Roger Simpson down. Roger Simpson taking time. Northern just punched at the middle minute, but for all that, making good surge forward, clearing his lines. Mark Lee, that a knock on the side, and all of a sudden, great breakthrough and a real chance now. Carl Fairbanks there, he's looking for support. But what an important tackle. That a great break from Northern from inside their own territory. Came for it from nothing. Fairbank at the end of it. Ford doing well to tackle him. Inside from Robbie Paul, and Northern have turned defence into attack in the space of hardly any time at all. And the kick through's there to the line. It's running and running and running and running, and it's running just dead. But Derek Fox showing his awareness to the fact that Salford weren't at home, that Phil Ford had been sucked into the line, the defensive line, in making the tackle on Carl Fairbank. And certainly at that phase of the game, Bradford Northern showing great awareness to turn defence from their own line into attack at the other end of the field. And Salford struggling at the minute, wanting to do something, clock's against them. But we've had 3 tries from them in the first half. Steve Blakely with a little kick through, goes back to him, and he gets his pass on to Forber. The referee says carry on, and he's still going on. Good handling from Salford. Scott Martin tries to get himself clear, he does, gets the pass away. Now for Paul Ford's there. Fans want Salford to go forward. Phil Ford's going forward, and he gets a pass on to Craig Randall. Craig Randall has to take the tackle, and the pass has to be stopped. I think Craig Randall, somebody caught Phil Ford then with a boot. It might have been Craig Randall inadvertently as he was going forward. Phil Ford certainly taking a knock there. And the referee absolutely right that whenever there's an injury, you have to stop play. But what a good game we've had, what an exciting game we've had. A game that's still anybody's, 16-14 the score. Salford presumably wanting to finish this season on a high note. Bradford have their slot in the Super League next year. Salford don't as yet. And Phil Ford looks as though he's going to have great difficulty carrying on in this game. And Salford are going to have to regroup then quite a bit. There's no obvious choice for who to go to full-back. Phil Ford having to be carried off. So that's a sad sight, particularly in the way that particular injury was caused. So we hope Phil Ford can make a recovery and that we can see him around next season. The last one, says the referee. The little kick through. Steve Blakely's there for it. And it's Roger Simpson who's there first. And the ball goes dead. So who's going into the full-back role? At the moment, it's difficult to tell. So 12 minutes. Derek Fox. Craig Randall. Crossfield. Well, that won't beat Northern defenders. Scott Martin. He manages to avoid tackles into them and out of them. And Jonathan Quigley trying to do the same. Nice little inside pass, and David Young is sturging forward. Salford taking it now, so close to the line. Can they score? Good hands along the line. Paul Forber out there. He's got Naylor. Naylor's charging for the line. How close can he get? Good inside running from him. Now can it go out a long way out there? Oh, it does, but it's dropped. And Paul Forber will be very unhappy with himself for that. A clear opportunity for Salford to score a try. And Roger Simpson had a lot of time then to pass that one on, even in the tackle. So disappointment there for Salford. I think it's actually stopped raining for the first time in this game. Paul Medley. So a chance for Salford goes a begging. Steve Blakely in the full-back role. And Northern have the chance. The crowd strangely quiet for the first time in this game. Derek Fox with the kick into space. Jason Critchley's there. Roger Simpson is herring after him, and Critchley glad just to pounce on it and make it his. And Steve Blakely's there on his own, running across field. Great pressure defending from Northern. Tex Evans can't find a way through. Northern now sensing that this game can be theirs. Good pass on though, and this way. Tex Evans looked as though he was gonna kick it, didn't. Salford just going looking for Blakely for the kick. Bounces nicely for Roger Simpson. And the initiative with Northern again in possession with the 2 points lead. 9 minutes only to go. And Salford must know that they've got to do all the right things on defence, and they're doing just that at the moment. Northern just playing through the tackles and now looking to move it wide. Carl Fairbank. And Derek Fox is there again, following up. Robbie Paul's in the line. He's got Newliv in support, doesn't use him. He uses Christian instead. And Christian hangs on to it the second attempt and proving very elusive. Straightens up. Finally put down in the centre of the field. Drops the ball, says the referee. Well said the crowd first of all. The touch judge agreed. It was the last tackle. Next to the last tackle, it was the 5th one, so Salford have the scrum and the put in. And the chance to do something. Blakely straightens up, goes forward, but somebody holding onto his shirt. Somebody was Roy Powell. David Young. Salford need a better line because there's nobody there, nobody wanted it. Cliff Eccles makes it his, but Salford not quite ready for that. And if sides are not fit, then these are the telltale signs. Ian Blease though surging forward. Blakely in the line. But the defensive Northern line, well, that's getting better as this afternoon goes on. Salford looking for the kicker. Mark Lee changes his mind, then kicks deep. Critchley's chasing, the ball's running and running, and in the end it's not played. Yeah, touch judge saying it wasn't played. Roger Simpson shepherding it over the dead ball line. Robbie Paul tackle, a bit high it looked. Tattle nonetheless. Northern working this ball forward. Roy Powell making ground forward for Northern. Oh, that's a nice little inside play. Fairbank again squirms the ball, squirms out, and in the end it finishes up in Mike Gregory's hands. Well, that was quite remarkable, that. But Salford need to find something. One man bursts won't do anything. Needs a team with the motion, but a tired team doesn't have that motion. Can Salford get on the toes for the last 5 minutes in this game? Are they fit enough to? See, Blakely didn't want it, wasn't watching, and this is the worry when you're a Salford fan, that they're just tiring a little bit at the moment. It's been a tough game, that there can be no doubt. It's the second game in 4 days, that there's no doubt. But that's been true of Bradford as well. Now the Salford working it well, moving the ball well, but at the end of it, the Bradford tacklers waiting to make the tackle, and quickly drops the ball unnecessarily under pressure, and another opportunity for Salford goes a-begging, and maybe the game's just drifting out of Salford's clutches now, because Northern defence seemingly having the measure of Salford's attacks in this second half. Salford haven't scored in the second half. Northern have just scored one try. Well, that was debatable, wasn't it? And the referee making Salford stand back almost 15 metres there. Fairbank again, and Salford still tackling well. And the ball dropped. So Salford have the chance. Salford applying their own pressure tactics now. Mike Gregory in the middle. But Northern defending tenaciously. They're hanging on to this lead. Cliff Eccles striding forward on his own. Makes good ground, but not decisively so. Mark Lee, selling a little dummy. Strong player, Mark Lee. Steve Blakely's off quickly, tries to find a space. Has to hang on to it because the pass might have been intercepted. And the referee saying that was a knock-on again, and Steve Blakely puts his head down. And another chance for Salford. Goes a begging. And Northern must now be feeling that this could be their day. Eulo inside step. Good tackle from Scott Naylor. Still Gary Christian manages to get that one away. Salford hanging on to their task grimly. Defending well, still tackling well. Kick early in the plays, and Salford having to go back, and it's the chase is on. The ball's running and running and running, and just goes dead. Steve Blakely had given that one up to Jason Critchley. And what can Salford do now? Scott Naylor's doing his best, doesn't he always? Desperate attacks, and as we get to the end of the game, Scott Martin's trying, gets out of one, still gets running, and running across field, looks for a passing route. Jason Critchley's over this side, gets out of one tackle, gets his pass on to Mark Lee, and Scott Martin again. Scott Martin has to take the tackle. Mark Lee, Steve Blakely, Ian Blease, gets a pass on to Blakely. Blakely has to hang on, comes back inside, tries to find some room, can't find any. Where are the passers? They are, there's the many support. Gregory still gets his pass on to Eccles. Eccles finding no space at all up this side. Gritty defence, this is from Northern. Now Salford going forward. Gregory's going on his own. Gets his pass away to Mark Lee. Mark Lee has to go. Good long pass out there. He's safe. He's safe. Out there to Jason Critchley. Critchley has to check. Come back inside. Was it Randall? Still Farber going. Good pass on from Salford to Gregory. Gregory trying to find something. He's held. He gets on with it quickly. Coming out this way. Now Blakely's going. Blakely hands on. Over there. Goes to Tex Evans. Tex Evans drops it. And another move for Salford. 1 minute on the clock. Comes to naught, because the great determination wasn't enough to beat a Bradford Northern defence that's had the measure of the Salford attacks in this second half. But oh, how close that was. How close, and there's one lost for nothing, and the referee will bring that one for a knock-on. Now it's just a chance for Salford. Volume of the Salford fans goes up a notch because this is yet another chance. Salford. Now, last minute of the game. Mark Lee makes it his. Scott Martin's out there on his own. Blakely had come this way. There was nobody to spread it to over that side. David Young, no it's not. Craig Randall's gone to that position in the backs. Still gets the pass on to Mark Lee, and this is desperate defence from Northern. But what attacking this is from Salford. Cliff Eccles still gets his pass on, but that tackling from Northern really is a credit and a joy at this stage in the game. Salford looking to find something. What's that something? Can't find a way through. Scott Naylor. Tex Evans is going for the line on his own. Taken down in the shadow of the post. The drop goal's no good. Little kick through into space. Who's going for it? Roger Simpson's going for it. Makes it his. Pushes the ball dead. Referee stops the clock. I hope the timekeepers saw that. Now, can Salford really do something in this last minute? Whatever the score, whatever the something. Okay, referee starts the clock again. It's a good deep kick, that is. Good chase from Northern. Critchley comes inside. Ian Blease doing the same on the 20. A thrilling finish to this game. Where's the support? David Young's in support, and he gets his pass on to Cliff Eccles. Cliff Eccles, what can he do? Gets his pass on to still the pass is made, and he's still on to Evans. Evans makes it his. Great defence from Northern. Salford desperate to break this Northern defence, but Northern just not budging in their defensive duties. Now's a chance, is there? Oh, it's a kick through. It rebounds off Northern, and he stayed in play. No, he put his foot on the touchline, and what would have been a try is going to be called back because he had his foot on the line, and so that should mean a Salford put in. Well, it'd be interesting to see that one again. Interesting to see whether that's the case when we look at that in the video, because it looks as though it's going to be a Salford put in. Well, what a thrilling finish to the game. We're seeing Salford throwing everything at Northern, but Northern unflinching in their defence. A match for whatever Salford have been able to do so far up to now. Into injury time. 42 minutes on the clock. The ball surrendered though, the ball lost, and that presumably will be Salford's last chance in this match to do something. If it is, it's been a great game for me to remember for my last one of this season. Can I just wish everybody at the club all the best for the future, all the best with their application to become a member of the Super League. We hope it's successful. We hope that we've got a team to support. We hope that that team's here at the Willows. So it's a season that started with so much optimism and promise, threatened briefly, but then in the end has petered out. Great kick from Derek Fox. Petered out for Salford. It's a season that started well for Northern and then also had its bad spots in the middle. The problems with the coach, the problems with the players who were tested for the drugs or wouldn't be tested for the drugs. But Northern will come again. There's no doubt about that. Let's hope Salford will. But a thrilling end to this game. Scott Martin won't get clear. He'll try, but Northern just not going to let him go. Scott Naylor pushes off one, but no, there's just too many Northern defenders. 44 minutes in this second half. Blakely's out there to Lee, out there to Forber. Nice little pass on. Now's a chance. Comes back inside. Oh, but in the end it's dropped by Critchley. And again, another chance for Salford. Goes a begging, but you can only admire the way Salford have tried to get this one there. And unfortunately, that's going to be pulled down for a knock-on. So a game that really has been close all the way through. Two teams, both looking tired now. Hardly surprising. Second game in four days. But Northern, having withstood an enormous amount of Salford pressure in the last 7 or 8 minutes, really are now in the position into injury time of having the ball inside Salford territory. So there's the final hooter. Northern have won 3 tries each. 3 tries each. Great finish to the game. Exciting match. The match turning on the penalty try awarded to Northern. Salford fans not happy about that. But an enjoyable game of rugby nonetheless. Very close contest. Rugby league always at its best when both teams are of similar standard. Salford played so well, and I'm sure that on Sunday, even though I won't be here, they'll finish off with a victory to round off the season against Widnes. The final score is home match for Salford. Salford 14, Bradford Northern 16.